Today's Wednesday, February 5th, 2014, and you're tuned into the Elevator Radio Show. The Elevator Radio Show is a proud supporter of the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation. To find out how you can make a difference, visit their website today at www.eesf.org. Hey, everybody, it is great to be back after 2 weeks of being off. Got a lot of great content to cover on the show today, so stay tuned. Here it comes.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Thank you, everybody. I am Tom Seibert, your host for the Elevator Radio Show. Great to be here this Wednesday morning, as I say that each and every Wednesday morning. What else am I going to say? Hey, it's I'm extremely tired this morning, and I don't want to be here, but I'm not going to do that. Man, it is snowing outside like Snowmageddon. I don't think we're going to get like 12 feet or anything, but I got up a little bit earlier this morning because I couldn't sleep. And came in, and kind of glad I did, because driving to work literally took twice as long as it typically does on a Wednesday morning. And literally it was probably about 45 minutes to an hour to get in because of the roads being in such poor condition. I don't know where the snow trucks were, but they knew about this snowstorm and they didn't do anything about it. So anyway, I don't know about you all out there, but between the polar vortexes that seem to continue to slam into the, North American area, along with the snowstorms that seem to happen every, 4 or 5 days or so, I'm somewhat tired of winter. So does anybody know if the hedgehog saw its shadow, or the beaver, or the groundhog, whatever it is? Anybody know? 6 more weeks of winter and then we're done? Is that how it goes? Yeah. If only, right? If only that were the case. Because if it isn't the case, some furry little animal needs to pay. That's all I have to say. I just kidding. I'm an animal lover. I'm a lover, not a hater. Remember that. Anyway, it's good to be here. I do apologize for not having the show, putting the show out the last 2 weeks. My wife was in. It's been a busy week. My wife has been was in California for a few days, visiting a good friend of ours, and she had a great time. Unfortunately, her flight coming back was canceled because of the polar vortex, and so she spent an extra day out in California, which she was quite upset about. But to be honest with you, I think given the situation of the polar vortex to California, nice weather, kind of lean towards California weather if I had to miss a day. So anyway, that kind of shifted the schedule for the show. Wasn't able to really do much other than kind of stay home and not come in to do the program. And for those of you out there who were not aware, my mom has been sick, and those of you that were aware, I greatly appreciate all the get well wishes for her. So she's doing much better now, which is great. She's home, and we just hope that she has a speedy recovery, and she starts to get some of her energy back. So it's been busy. That's all I can say. It's been busy. Next week, I probably will not put a show out. I will be in Atlanta, Georgia for the AGM, or the annual general meeting for the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation. And these are typically pretty busy. So if I can manage something to put out there, I will do my best to do so. However, one of the issues that we have is that the recording stuff and the equipment is not always as easy to take along with me and then produce and get all that stuff done outside of this office. That's kind of just how it works. So anyway, yeah, so that's kind of about it. And even the week after that, I'm not 100% sure I'm going to have a show on that day either. I have to play it by ear because I am traveling the following week as well to Georgia, different area, just for a couple of days. So I gotta kind of try to figure out what's going to work for the show and what's going to work for travel and sleep and all that. So we'll see what happens. Those of you who are headed down to Atlanta for the AGM, looking forward to seeing you all. And it's always a good time. Some great people involved in that organization, and exciting to kind of see the path that the foundation is going to be basically headed in. So looking forward to that, and I hope they don't get 2 inches of snow. That's all I can say. Anyway, I'm not going to get into the email comments. I do appreciate all of the emails that were sent over, and I kind of scanned through them this morning. Quite a few of them. I do have to go through them in greater detail. And I thank you to those of you out there that sent me in links. I greatly appreciate that. The photo in today's post is compliments of Tom. Tom, thanks for sending that in. And because my kids have had, I think, 4 or 5 snow days so far, and here's a photograph, if you're listening to the program, of a school bus with monster tires on it. It says, "Sorry kids, no more snow days." So I thought that was pretty funny. So we're going to get right into the show content, or the news articles of this week's program, actually 2 weeks worth of articles, and we'll try to get you out of here in no time. So up next, it is news time, and as always, send your elevator comments or your comments in general over to elevatorradioshow@gmail.com, and I will get back to you as quickly as I possibly can if it's pressing. If not, use my work email address, and if you don't know that, let me know. Okay, up next, news.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
Alrighty, stack of articles here. First article or link that needs to be brought to your attention, that the Canadian Elevator Contractors Association registration site, their 40th convention, information is in French and also in English. So if you're interested in attending that, please get over and do so. Important to do that. And before you know it, it will be June, and it will be warm, and all the snow will be gone. Okay, the Chicago Elevator Association meeting will be tomorrow, Thursday, at Marcello's in Chicago at 645 West North Avenue. I will be attending that as long as it doesn't snow. And looking forward to that, as I've not been to a meeting in quite some time. Anyway, Affiliate Customer Service is going to be presenting in March. We've got EPCO, and then April Adams, and then May NASA International. So pretty cool. It's amazing to think that we're almost into summer to some extent. Camp Hill vets still awaiting elevator. Why is it that veterans have to wait for anything? You know, honestly, I think they should be given, I don't know, some priority. Those who have served our country, but apparently they've got some elevator issues at Camp Hill, and they're trying to get them resolved. And obviously, when you're dealing with older equipment, it's not always the easiest thing to correct and find solutions for. So, and in the world that we live in today, of I want it now, I want it right now, it's not always that easy to take care of. Okay, the Elevator Industry Group of Southern California has their monthly message for 2014 in January. Rudy Ocampo has an article, and so encourage you to get involved with your local elevator association. And this is a nice, a nice little message from the president, and good to keep in touch with your members. So thanks for posting that. Okay, here's a article coming from the Courthouse News Service. I don't typically link these because this is a website that specifically targets or is kind of an attorney lawyer type of deal. But read this article. You don't see something like this every day, where a woman who was injured on an elevator was then injured again on the same elevator 3 years later, or a month and 3 days later. So kind of got to wonder what's going on there. Again, and I'm not going to discount if it was true or not. This is all alleged information. The reality is that any kind of lawsuit like this basically turns into, basically a field day for attorneys And so I'm not quite sure how you prevent these kind of situations other than putting cameras in elevators, and which many of them already have. So interesting. Okay, real sad news to report. NewYorkDailyNews.com. Woman strangled when scarf got caught in an escalator. She's been identified. And this actually happened in Montreal. She was described as a loving mother of two whose family moved to Canada from Morocco. This is scary, frightening information. What's even more concerning is that escalators in countries other than, how should I say this, in countries where women wear loose-fitting clothing or long clothing, here's another situation where there's a new issue to really, address with people riding them, and letting them know that if you've got scarves or long clothing, you shouldn't be, you should be very careful of riding on an escalator. I mean, one of the first things that I did when I, as a kid, my mom and dad would always say, make sure your shoes are tied before you get on the escalator. And I did every single time. Not that they ever told me that you could get your foot stuck in or anything, but it's a priority. And, I would even be so scared to make sure that everybody had their shoes tied that was getting on the escalator at the same time. So, it's maybe the placard signs need to be bigger. Maybe we need bigger education. Maybe the Safety Foundation needs to ensure that we're addressing all the safety points importantly. So anyway, education is the key. And this next article is one of those that just has me scratching my head. And Sourceable.net, industry news and analysis. I do not agree with this title or how this article was written. And honestly, this article right here deserves a response in the comments section from anybody who would like to, because the author of this article has an image. Okay, has a photograph of a man falling down an escalator. Okay, he's got like bags, and obviously there's a lot of stuff he's carrying up the escalator, which I would believe would have contributed to him falling down the escalator. But this article starts off regarding the woman who was strangled in a fatal escalator accident. And in all honesty, the article does not cite any specific information other than just stating that there's an issue, nobody wants to take care of it, and widespread reform is very difficult to pursue. And the reality is there are elevator codes and escalator codes. There's codes out there that address safety issues with elevators and escalators. It's not a design necessarily issue. It's more or less making sure that they're safe. Rider behavior is number one in terms of some of the accidents that occur. And obviously making sure equipment is maintained properly is the next thing, and tested within tolerances. But I don't know if this is an article that specifically addresses this interesting new type of escalator. It's supposed to be safer than anything. The levelator or leveltator, I don't know. But the reality is it's just, this thing looks awfully cool in a concept, but the reality is could it ever meet, the current codes that are out there? So maybe it could. But anyway, comment on this if you'd like to, because I don't necessarily think this is an article that is really hitting on the facts necessarily, and it doesn't cite who this gentleman or who the author of this article is actually citing. So anyway, yeah, this one kind of bothered me a little bit, and I almost didn't link it to give it any kind of press or whatever. But feel free to comment on this, because I think the author of this article is missing a whole area of education and stuff that he didn't necessarily research. I don't think it could have been a much better article. So anyway, East Cleveland apartment building where 2-year-old fell to death had 3 complaints since 2010. City inspectors followed up on only minor or non-existent complaints during their most recent visits to the Crystal Tower Apartments when a 2-year-old boy fell to his death Monday after crashing through a floor-to-ceiling window. Floor-to-ceiling window. What? Floor-to-ceiling window. where is there a floor-to-ceiling window? Maybe, you know what? Actually, maybe it fell. Maybe it fell through the building. Anyway, I'll let everybody read this. I don't really think it relates to elevators necessarily. So, okay, seniors angry with broken elevator. Here's a 3-stop, maybe 4-stop. Minnesota residents in a senior living complex in Hawley say that they want their elevator back. It's been well over a month since the elevator to the Northside Terrace has worked, meaning those who use wheelchairs or walkers have been stuck in their apartments. Anyway, trying to bring the elevator up to code, unfortunately, and residents are running out of patience, obviously. I tell you what, when I retire, I'm moving into a ranch or a building that has no elevator in it. I think that's the route I'm going to go, and no stairs if I can help it. Got to make it totally accessible so I can ride around in my wheelchair. That's what I'm shooting for. Okay, next news article. Hey, how many of you out there have heard of the company Anixin? Wait, Anxin. How do you pronounce that? Anixin. Why is this so hard for me? Somebody tell me. What's wrong with me? Anyway, it's a Chinese company. Okay, Chinese to buy elevator safety company for $167 million. Yeah, here we go. I don't know if this Anxin China Holdings, that's in China, obviously, but if the elevator safety company is in China too. I think it is. I did read this, wasn't quite sure of the whole thing, so that would be why we don't understand it. But apparently this elevator safety security systems manufacturer makes those types of devices. Anyway, you can read more about this in the notes, and it's a lot of money for a company. So got me thinking though. Can you imagine the day if Chinese investors come over and start buying elevator companies here? Can you imagine that day? Oh, that scares me a little bit. They're already buying buildings and properties and businesses. I don't know. I hope we don't see a day like that. I really do. Okay, elevator insurance program launched in East China. Those who have been victims of malfunctioning elevators are now eligible for reimbursement in the cities of Nanjing, Natang, Suzhou, whatever. As East China's something province launches its pilot program to ensure elevator safety. It's a new liability insurance program, and elevators went into effect on Tuesday and will be introduced to other cities throughout the province. It's a crazy way of doing it. I think I talked about this the last show, which would have been 2 weeks ago, but yeah. So people who are stuck in an elevator can get $33 as mental injury compensation. I guess that says a lot about their mental capacity, huh? It's the first trial operation of its kind in the country. What the? All right. That's an interesting take on it, isn't it? Interesting. All right. Yeah, Insider, they got their latest Insider news letter is out for 2014. So what is government affairs? If you never knew what government affairs were and what and how NEI is, has a large part in, in legislation and, just making sure states are adopting codes. Here's a good article on kind of what they're doing. And I commend them for that, because the reality is they're not really fighting the fight, but they're promoting safety in every single state to some extent. So, which is quite impressive. It's quite impressive. So I'll let everybody read that on their own. Elevator stir up safety concerns. This is coming from the Oracle Online, and this is at a campus. Elevators on campus are not a new issue for students, faculty, and staff returning from Christmas break. Are the elevators safe for students to use? What should students do if they are stuck in an elevator? This is a common problem every year when students return to campus. So this university or college has come up with this elevator etiquette poster, which I probably could. This is kind of silly, but maybe, I don't know. Elevator etiquette, ride responsibly. Look for call phone button, report the outage, distribute weight evenly. Are you kidding me? It's not a freaking boat, man. Okay, the elevator stopped working. Everybody distribute their weight evenly. And do not overload elevator. Panic if stuck. You're missing a whole bunch of other ones here. Go to Elevator U. They got a great safety program. Again, hello. The internet is a wonderful thing. Why can't people link more, more news articles that are, pertinent to, basically what they're writing about? Does that make sense? I don't understand. Okay, the do's and don'ts of tear outs. You got to watch this video from start to finish. I'm not going to watch it because it's a little loud. I can't control the volume on it very easily. But check this video out, or just scroll to the end. It's not in the United States. If you saw this in the United States, you would basically, it would not, this shouldn't be done in the United States, but it's definitely an interesting way of, of dropping an elevator car. Unbelievable. Check it out. Okay, Elevator World, this is kind of an older post. Urine detection devices for elevators. So, what? Hey, nice song. Anyway, I'm going to let everybody click on that link. What are your thoughts on these? Do you think they're needed? What do you think? I think we should just put urinals in elevators and be done with their toilets, right? Put those ones in that don't require any kind of water, which are disgusting. I've seen them in universities, and I'm like, what in the world is this? A urinal without water? Hey, do that. Collect it, dispose of it. That's going to be the way people are going to roll. Why not, right? I know it's not. I know it's a bad idea. Don't send your emails to me. I totally understand that. So, next article is from Diesel Doozy about a cool old Otis non-electric elevator. I'll let everybody check that out. John over at elevatorjuster.com has a bunch of videos out. This one is ground hoist motor video. Some really interesting videos he's posted in the last couple of weeks. Encourage you to get over, subscribe to his channel, and check it out. Don't try this at home, folks. I think I might have posted. Oh, this is not one that posted through. So, again, another video from John. Again, just reminding you that if you're not an elevator technician, you should not be doing any of this kind of work on elevators, or else you will die. You may die. Could get hurt, electrocuted, death, whatever. So make sure you do that. All right, next news article. Okay, this is not a good one. Again, the reason why. Actually, no, let me go back to the other one. Dormant escalator to come to life. Always excited when escalators are brought back from the dead. So dramatic. Apparently, the up escalator at the Staten Island Ferry Terminal will be operational Tuesday with video. So I'll let everybody watch the video on their own. But good news, and obviously when escalators are dormant for a long time, they probably should be taken out of service and shut. Obviously they're not supposed to be used as stairs. So but sometimes they do. Anyway, so check that out. Link is in the show notes. Real sad news story coming from the Borneo Post or Borno Post. It sounded terrible. I know. I didn't really say that word. Borneo Post. There we go. This is not in the United States, but a 3-year-old boy lost 4 fingers on his left hand following a freak escalator mishap at a shopping mall in some city I cannot pronounce. Oh, awful. Just awful. So, again, a good reason to support the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation. And it'd be nice to see if the foundation could have a larger reach. But that's not always that easy to do. When you talk about converting programs to other languages and all that good stuff. So we just hope that, in essence, the local elevator companies in those areas are able to basically promote that safety message the best that they can. So, okay, an update on the woman who released an alligator at Chicago Airport behind an escalator. Well, apparently she was high and cracked. She was charged with animal cruelty. Good news to hear. What's wrong with people? How are you carrying an escalator around? I don't understand. Don't understand at all. But I know everybody was waiting or wanting to know what happened to the woman who let the escalator, loose behind the alligator loose behind the escalator. But anyway, next news article: one day an elevator might talk to you. I sure hope not. Man, if artificial intelligence is anything like my Siri on my iPhone, I want nothing to do with it. I gotta tell you, I speak okay. I mean, I know I don't talk like I got marbles in my mouth, like my kids do sometimes. I'm like, what do you say? But Siri, oh my goodness. I just want to bang my head into the wall when I try to like text somebody or do the hands-free operation when I'm driving home. It's aggravating. I mean, I get so frustrated that I'm like swearing at my iPhone because it doesn't understand what I'm saying. And man, they got such a long way to go. And apparently Microsoft is testing artificial intelligence, which is coming from tnw.com or thenextweb.com, regarding that they're pushing the boundaries of artificial intelligence to a whole new level. Imagine a smart elevator that can figure out what floor a person wants to go to based on their history and other factors. Really? How's it going to know? Anyway, you watch this video. Let's see if we can do this without an ad.
Welcome to Fenway. We've got tradition.
All right, this is an ad. But really, I mean, do we really need this? Do we need to know based on a proximity card you've got in your pocket where the elevator thinks you might be headed?
Charge of more than 1,000 research scientists, 13 labs around the world. What kinds of things are you focusing on?
Well, we're really covering just a huge array of things, almost anything you can imagine in computing research, as well as other parts of math, physics, computer science, biology. But a big focus right now, and really on point for this segment, is artificial intelligence. We've really been just very, very focused. In fact, it's our largest investment area in the labs right now.
Now, one of the things that you're working on is a virtual personal assistant. What could he or she do?
I like that idea.
Well, one way to think about AI systems today is that they try to answer questions. They try to figure things out. And one type of question is to figure out what questions. Like if someone says something, to try to figure out what did that person say. Or if you see a picture or a video, what is in that picture or video? But another kind of question that's really important and really challenging is to answer the why questions. Why does this person want to see a certain person for an appointment? Why did this person come and ask a certain kind of question? And to understand the intention of people. And that is really the basic subject of this personal assistant research project.
Peter, we were just looking at some footage, obviously, of some of the things that you've been working on. And in the case of this virtual assistant, I was noticing that you had a male figure on screen. And I'm just curious, from an interface standpoint, how do you choose what the administrator should look like?
Well, in fact, in the system as we have it set up right now in the prototype, you can choose what kind of avatar you want.
Okay.
And so some people choose male, some people choose female. It really is something that, as part of our research, we're trying to understand how do people relate to these kinds of systems? What kind of symbiosis or connection can man and machine make together? And it's interesting to see what happens when you change the gender of the avatar.
Did you ever consider potentially hiring Scarlett Johansson, given her work in Her?
All right, I'm going to let everybody watch that on their own. I just thought that was interesting. But let me get back here. This thing's going to start up real quick. I don't know. All I can say, I don't think this is necessarily needed in our field. But yeah, if AI is going to be anything like Siri, I'm just going to chuck it out the window. I'm going to have to. Drives me crazy. Okay, Old Foot Bridge, an indoor railway station, an accident waiting to happen. Let me read that. I don't know where indoor is. Oh, it's in India. There we go. Did figure that part out, but yeah. Okay, next news article. Apparently a burglary suspect arrested after being stuck in an elevator. Look at this car. Oh, my gosh. San Jose, California, marijuana dispensary burglary. Suspect arrested after stuck in elevator shaft. All right, so this is stuff that was stolen from a a marijuana dispensary. So yeah, lots of stuff here. I've been apparently stuck in an elevator, and while police, tended to him and found him and got him and charged him. I don't know. Why would you need to steal stuff if you can get it not for free? I guess that's why you don't. Anyway, okay. Next news article: downtown office buildings elevator work to cost $800,000. Sounds like a pretty good deal to me, I guess. And it's going to take 10 months. This is a good thing to see. The Lift Security National Life Insurance Company, a wholly owned subsidiary of blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the company which took over the building last summer said it had planned to improve the 19-story building's elevators, but it put a price tag on the project last week and has not begun. I know it has begun work. Anyway, that's good to know, good to see. And, yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. Look like old historic elevators. Hopefully those elevators are going to be treated as such. Next news article: man tumbles down escalator at the Pentagon City Hall. ARLnow.com reporting that man was taken to a hospital after tumbling down a lower level escalator at the Pentagon City Mall this afternoon. Incident happened around noon. According to witnesses, the man might have suffered a seizure before falling halfway down the escalator near the Haagen-Dazs store. He suffered what appeared to be a broken leg and was quickly tended to by security personnel and paramedics. Scary. So anyway, they were cleaning out the blood, and I've seen people have seizures and blackout, and it is not a fun situation at all to be to see or to try to help with, and so hopefully he makes a quick and speedy recovery. The London Evening Standard has an article: Oxford Circus, the worst offender for lengthy escalator repair work. I'll let everybody read this on their own, but gosh, look at the escalator step treads there. There's like a wear mark in the middle of them, which makes me think there's some issue going on. But yeah, it's I can't imagine escalators being very easy to work on, knowing that I've never done it before or would want to. But yeah, it's can't be an easy job whatsoever. Next news article: group calls for South Bronx subway elevator to be restored after 30 years. CBSNewYork.com. I love how you've got these groups that demand that the escalators and elevators, whatever, be brought up to code, or I don't know, be restored, whatever. Half the time, not even necessarily knowing what the heck they're talking about. But the reality is that it's expensive for one thing, and two, it's not always as cut and dry as what the situation might not necessarily be. So, and what typically happens in these situations is you get an accessibility group that has some serious funding, and basically, they just latch right into it and hire disability attorneys or those that deal with accessibility, and basically go from there. Next news article is actually a blog post, which is really cool. Check this out. It's a Porsche tower with car elevators planned in Miami. For those of you those of you who are the rich and famous or Porsche lovers or whatever, this is a building that has a Porsche elevator that I guess brings up to your floor. I don't know. Jeez. Oh man, if you got that much money, why not try to make the lives of those less fortunate a little bit more enjoyable, right? Okay. Next article is also another blog post over on Elevator World Unplugged: how Otis tests the life of an elevator. I'll let everybody watch that on their own because I can't turn that off. It's an ad. Next article. Thanks, Carl, for sending this in. Again, this is not a video that originates in the United States whatsoever. And you would not see this here in the United States whatsoever. At first, I'm like, man, what mall is this in? But it's basically, they've created a X Games type of BMX course inside a mall that involves riding down escalators, and which is dangerous as heck and should not be done or attempted whatsoever at all. And just kind of shocked that they did it here, but not a good situation. And but check that out. Link is in the show notes, and I'm glad this is not something that happens in the United States. And it's over on stupidvideos.com, which is probably par for the course. And I think I covered this on a previous show. Andrew's got a cool... Yeah, I did already cover this on the show, but I'll leave it in the show notes. And that's going to do it for this week's show, everybody. I really appreciate everybody hanging on there. Again, next week we'll see what happens. Maybe I can sneak a show in. Real basic. We'll see. I'd love to be able to do that, but we will play it by ear as next week kind of kind of evolves. I know it's going to be a busy week with the meeting, and then also with trying to catch up when I'm not at the meeting with work. So we will play it by ear. I'll put a post up over on the website for those of you who are interested in that. And as always, thanks for tuning in to the show today, everybody. Be safe out there. Practice safety. Support the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation. And we will talk to you as soon as we possibly can. So take care. Have safe travel. Stay warm. And don't hurt your back shoveling out there. Take care. Bye-bye.